This is Al Jazeera.
Hello there, warm welcome to you. You're watching the News Hour live from Doha, and I'm Shiulie Ghosh. The death toll has now risen to 400, and we're told by the UN that a quarter of those are civilians. What is the goal of Israel's military operation? Is it to achieve a permanent ceasefire, or is it to permanently remove the Hamas government? In the moments following the strike, as you see here, dozens of people rushed to the scene and they began pulling bodies from the rubble. Well, the UN Security Council has held an emergency session to discuss the Gaza crisis. Libya proposed a draft resolution calling for an immediate ceasefire and a legally binding condemnation of Israel's actions. But the session ended in disagreement. In the studio is Chief Palestinian negotiator Saeb Erekat. Good to have you with us. First of all, does Mr. Abbas think that President Obama will be announcing some kind of new initiative next month? We begin with more horrifying images coming out of Iran. A teenage girl lies dying on the street. We can't say exactly what happened to Neda, as she's known, because Al Jazeera, like all foreign media, is banned from attending the protests. Does Mr. Mousavi fear he will be arrested? And if he is arrested, what will his supporters do?
Okay, if they arrest Mr. Mousavi, the people will stay in the street and they cancel their job and they become more angry.
Almost 1/3 of the 115 million children in the world who do not receive primary education live in countries affected by war. Just last month, an Israeli tank came down here and bulldozed its way through the wall and into the playground. Thank you very much indeed for your time, Mr. Solana. I know that you've been meeting with Israeli leaders. What are your thoughts on prospects for a new peace effort? The most senior US commander in Afghanistan is expected to submit a report to NATO, which will admit the current military strategy in the country isn't working. In the past year, more than 140 teachers and students have been killed. And even while we've been filming here this week alone, we've learnt that 30,000 children have been prevented from going to school in the Ghazni province because of threats against their lives. Welcome to the World News from Al Jazeera, and the very first programme live from our Doha News headquarters here in the heart of the Middle East. Now, rescue workers and relatives are still picking through the rubble a day after a huge truck bombing in northern Iraq. At least 75 people were killed, 200 others were injured. One of the direct consequences has been the breakdown in these relations between Iraq and Syria. We've seen the Turkish minister now trying to ease tensions. Is that relationship retrievable?
Well, that depends on how often or how much can be remedied.
Hello there, I'm Shiulie Ghosh. The EU says sanctions against Robert Mugabe and his most loyal officials will remain in force until more is done to implement the power-sharing agreement in Zimbabwe.
This is not about Robert Mugabe. This is not about the personage of somebody being able to travel here and there.
But it is about the political situation in Zimbabwe right now, and the political situation is that there has been no progress in this power-sharing deal. There's no need for guards at the newly opened Syed Yusuf Elmi School.
Nice to meet you.
Do you like school? I think that's a yes. That's it for now. I'm Shiulie Ghosh. Thanks for watching. I'll be back after the weather update with all your headlines. Do stay with us.